All right, let's bring out this cast and the creators. Okay, so we're gonna start with one of the busiest guys in show business. He's also one of the nicest men ever. And he's also the director of Love, Simon, which if you haven't seen it, please go see Love, Simon. This is executive producer Greg Berlanti. He has 50 shows on the air right now. You might be familiar with one of them. But next I'm gonna bring out, his father created Archie Comics, which is insane. I mean, that's so, incredible. But we have Jon Goldwater, executive producer. And then he was in jail, but now he's out and he's back with the Serpents. We have Skeet Ulrich. This lady just played Mrs. White in Carrie the Musical. She also has a biker past that I'm obsessed with. Mädchen Amick. This lady left the Pussycats behind and is now kind of being stalked by Cheryl, not really, but also could be Kevin Keller's sister in some kind of weird future. Ashley Murray. He's the narrator of Riverdale, and he is, and he's the Ughead for Bughead. Colt Sprouse. And she's the bee in Bughead. And her mom just took her wig away, which I'm so upset about. Lily Reinhart. And she loves her Archikins, but she also loves her parents. Camila Mendez. And this next actor, we wouldn't have the show really without this guy. He's made me rethink my love of gingers. KJ Apa. And last we saw this actress in this week's episode. She was being shipped off to a mental hospital with a crazy nun, and now she's singing and dancing. Madeleine Petsch. And this next actress, I would vote for her for mayor solely based on her hair, because it's that good. Marisol Nichols. And this man's a legend. He was shot in the beginning of the season, but now he's back and running for mayor. Luke Perry. And then this man we would not have Riverdale without him. This is the showrunner and the executive producer, the developer of this whole thing, Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa. Oh, wow. Okay, that's all the time we have. Thank you for coming. Wait, no, let's dive into this episode to start. And again, let's try and don't spoil it for people that haven't seen it yet online if you can. But Roberto, tell me, what made you decide to do this? This is it's a big thing to take on, to do a musical episode of television.
Yeah, it was something we talked about even in season 1 to do a musical episode, and we ran out of time, and we were doing the second season, and we'd planned to do the musical halfway through the season, and then we kept pushing it, and we kind of came to a moment of truth where it was like, okay, we're either doing it now or not doing it. So everyone really rallied, and we pulled together a huge production, kind of close to the end of the season. So it was sort of a now or never moment.
Yeah.
But I think it really energized everyone who was working on it, the director, Jason Stone, the writers, Arabella and Tessa, and the cast, and everything. So it really brought everything together.
And when you first auditioned all these people, like for the original, the original pilot, did you know that they had singing abilities? Because they're all like pop stars. This is like a real.
I think the only person who sang was Ashley, and then KJ played the guitar.
Right.
But I don't think anyone else sang.
Wow.
So it was we asked, I think, but yeah, we didn't know there'd be that much singing.
Yeah. What other secret talents do we have on stage here? Like, can someone juggle? Like, are there juggling abilities? Or Luke, you can juggle?
A little bit.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It took me a while, but next time I'm bringing it.
Like magic tricks? Okay, cool. Greg, you guys you've done musical episodes before, unlike The Flash. What did you think when Roberto came to you with this idea? Were you excited? Were you wary? What did you sort of think of it?
I love a good musical episode, so you don't have to convince me. I loved his take on it too, just the fact of doing Carrie, which was, not incredibly well received when it first premiered, but he had a love for it, and it really just fit so well with the characters and the storylines they were doing, and I think it's sort of given its due with the show, which is what's also so nice if you love musical theater.
Yeah. And for the cast, what was this like? Because you not only would have to learn your lines and blocking for direction, but you had to learn choreography, you had to learn the score. What was that like to shoot?
Terrifying. I'm not musical.
It was really hard. The choreography was the most challenging part for me. Juggling the songs was difficult, but we all came to. Yeah, it was nice.
I think it was really fun. I had a blast doing it. I think it was like a really fun and rewarding thing to do, especially after 17 episodes of Riverdale, to like kind of stop that for a minute and do this like kind of crazy, elated version of Riverdale where we all get to sing and dance, which are things that we like to do anyways. It was really fun for us. And all of us came together and got to work together for the first time in a while, which was really fun.
Was there one number that was the hardest one to sort of pull off? Because that one in the dressing room looks like a single shot.
I'm not in this thing, but I gotta tell you, when I watched that, that's photographed. That's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
That's the way you want that stuff to come down.
Yeah.
And that's these guys all doing it in real time on the day, and Jason being able to.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Was that the hardest one for you guys?
We have different opinions.
The night we won't forget, the one where we're...
The ending one.
Yeah,
we're in the dressing room.
end. But even not
I think the chair one was hard.
So the whole
Oh my
thing.
God.
We were like on chairs.
We were
with you.
falling in the chair one.
We all really had to be in sync for that one, and I don't really know that we were.
No, you were great.
I don't think we were.
I love a chair dance, like Britney Spears, Stronger.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Your chair dancing is on par with her, I would say. It's wonderful. It's excellent.
Wow, okay.
But Cole, you kind of alluded to this, but did you have FOMO at all about missing out on singing? Were you pushing for Jughead to have like an aria or like some kind of
Ave Maria. Yeah, I couldn't sleep for nights afterwards. Tough.
I hated it too.
Luke, you had FOMO too?
No, I was just saying the song that they cut, he sang to Fred, and I thought it was awesome, and then they cut it.
It was a beautiful
And the Lodges
duet.
had a whole tango number that
Oh, yeah.
it got
Yeah.
cut, but the tango was fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madeleine. Madeleine, what was it like being covered in blood for the climactic moment? Is that corn syrup like
It
Carrie?
was sticky.
Okay.
Whoa, is it sticky? I had to have there was a bar they had to put up for me to hold my arms up between takes because my arms would get stuck to my sides.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's photos, I'll put them out when the episode airs. I'm like this, waiting for the next setup. It was very fun.
Yeah.
It's a blasty blast. The shower afterwards was sweet relief. I'll tell you that. Woo!
And Roberto, it seems like Chuck is having a comeback now. He seems to be on the road to redemption. Is that something we'll maybe see in the next for the rest of the season?
I love that actor who plays Chuck Jordan, and he's been such a great villain for us.
Yeah.
But I think we want him to be able to do more stuff on the show. So part of this story was to redeem him because he's so great, and I think he'd be great with the gang.
Yeah.
And he was a great dancer too.
Yeah.
He's a great dancer. I
Killed
know.
it.
I got
Yeah.
secret talents. John, your father founded Archie Comics, which again, that's so cool. What do you think your dad would think of Riverdale? I mean, Riverdale obviously is still very faithful to the comics, but then is very modern though. But what would he think of this show, do you think?
I mean, I think he'd be shocked, to be honest with you. But I also think he'd be thrilled,
Yeah.
you know, like to see this great cast and like they're alive, man. It's like, I don't think he ever in his wildest dreams thought that, that would ever happen. But, the show's about family, the show's about friendship, and that's really what Archie was founded on. So I think, the DNA of the comic books and the DNA of the show are the same. So I think he'd really be thrilled about that whole thing.
Yeah. Roberto, is that something that you guys go back and forth on, like how far you can modernize it, but then also, stay true to the comics? Is that one of the kind of the biggest challenges?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time in the writers' room. I talk about it with Jon Goldwater, John, almost every day, about pushing the envelope with certain things, but always coming back to milkshakes in the booth at Pops.
Yeah.
And we tell so many mystery and crime and horror stories on the show that it's nice, something like the musical, to tell stories that are mostly about friendships and the relationships and stuff. And but the romances are a huge part of the show, as they were on the comic, and that keeps us true to them, I think.
Yeah. So let's talk about season 2. Go back to the beginning of this. Did you know, like, when we wrapped up season 1 and Fred was shot by the assailant, did you know at that point that person was the Black Hood and that would be the next year's kind of mystery?
We were getting ready to shoot that scene where Fred is attacked and Pops, and we talked about different kinds of masks, and there's this character in one of the Archie comic books called the Black Hood. He's sort of a vigilante. And sort of the day of, we sort of said, does anyone have a black ski mask? Let's put him in a black ski mask, and maybe we can tell the Black Hood story. And we wanted to do something that felt like Zodiac, but in a small town, and follow that through the points of view of the kids of the town. So we did. It was towards the end of season 1, but yeah, we had an idea about it.
And Luke, I think I talked to you about this, but you didn't know if you were gonna die or not. Really, like, you were sort of you were kind of not unsure, right? Like, it was kind of a mystery.
Many things on our show are a mystery. That's fair to
Very
say,
true.
right? Safe to say. And one of the things about doing any type of mystery television in today's world, with all the social media and all the ways that story can get out, is, we really got to lock this stuff down and keep it precious and keep it quick, because we work hard to create it and we want it to have its full effect for you and surprise. So we really oftentimes don't say anything, and part of that is sometimes they don't always share the information with us. But I will say, in absolute candor, Roberto was he kept saying, we're not going to kill you. And I kept saying, it's okay, Roberto. It's fine. People die. It's going to happen. I saw Game of Thrones. I know how this goes. But he's got a long-term plan for this thing, and I believed him. So yeah.
And KJ, you and I talked about this on set, I think, but this has really, this storyline's really, I think, given Archie so many more layers and depth and really darkness so much. He really, you go back to the Red Circle, and how's that been for you to play? Has that been fun to sort of see more of Archie?
Yeah, it's been really good. That first season was real. We didn't really get to explore that side of Archie in the first season, so to have that material this time has been really good. It's been challenging, and it's been really good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
My other question, Roberto, this is probably for you, or maybe you all can answer it. Is there a CrossFit in Riverdale? Is there the cast is very fit. Is there like a Tracy Anderson method?
There's definitely.
Is there a soul cycle?
Yeah, there's a soul cycle.
Is it like Cycle Soul, like how they always it's like Shankshaw instead of Shawshank? Okay, I just didn't know, because it's a very fit cast.
But isn't that great? Shankshaw, Spiffany's.
Yeah, I love it.
It's just brilliant.
I know. Do you guys have are there?
A lot of those are in the Archie. A lot of those are in the Archie comics. I will tell you, they are very difficult to clear through Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, we love those Easter eggs and asides.
Yeah. Obviously, another huge part of this season has been Hiram's arrival, Mark Consuelos. Marisol and Camila, how has that been to have sort of your trio completed, or a complete triangle kind of this season?
Well, it certainly changed my character a lot. Yes. But it's been amazing. I think Mark and having Hiram there has been such an added dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's given me so much to play, and as opposed to one note, I'm usually playing 3 or 4 at the same time, and never know which way we're going.
Yeah.
But I just personally, I've loved it because I feel like it's brought a lot of strength out in the character that you really didn't get to see the first season. And it's also been a great dynamic for Veronica and Hermione, because their relationship has been challenged so much, and I can't wait for what's coming. I can't wait for what's coming.
Do you think that she loves Hiram, or is she afraid of him?
Define love. I think she admires his strength and his cunningness. I think she's afraid of him.
Yeah.
She's smart enough to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
And I think at one point she thought she loved him, but I don't believe she really knew him. Just my thoughts. What do you think, Roberta? Yeah.
Camila, what do you think about, I mean, does Veronica, do you think, is it the same with her? Like, she loves her father, but she also is afraid of him? Or do you think she just is just a daddy's girl? Like, she's...
I think she loves him.
Yeah.
I've never doubted that. And I think he loves her a lot, too. I think Veronica is precious to Hiram.
Yeah.
I just don't think she believes in what he's doing. And so she tries to keep one foot in darkness, one foot in goodness, and tries to find a middle ground.
Because I was rewatching this season, and that's such an interesting dynamic because I do think Veronica is good, but then she is, she wants to be part of this family, and so it's this real, she seems so torn, basically.
Yeah.
That must be great to play.
She also wants to control the family in her own way.
Yeah. And what's it like working with Mark? Mark seems to have brought out a lot of, he's like a troublemaker, it seems like. He's like a jokester. Like, KJ, you and Mark you've like Instagram competitions, it feels like, or you have like an Instagram joke back and forth.
Yeah, Mark's a legend. I really enjoy those scenes. That we have a lot of scenes in that study, so it can get kind of boring in there. So we try and liven it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it like to wrestle Mark Consuelos?
Are you asking me?
Yes. Luke for Luke. This is for Luke.
His bicep feels pretty good against my chin, but it was he's pretty strong, but he actually does a lot of wrestling. So he was teaching me some stuff, and those other wrestlers that we were with were actually the SFU wrestling team.
Oh, wow.
So they were like showing us the moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been an amazing addition to the cast.
He's so great.
He's been great.
Cole, you were kind of separate from the cast for the first half. I mean, you were at Southside, obviously. Did it feel at all like you were on a separate show? Like, did you miss being with the gang?
I was just glad to be away from them, to be honest. Like, finally. No, I thought the South Side and the elaboration of the South Side was a really good chance for the world to grow.
Yeah.
And it was a great time to see what Jughead's childhood might have looked like, something that he was very fond of. But it was also a great way to introduce the Serpents, which was a huge, and is still a huge part of season 2.
Yeah.
But it's nice because season 1, Riverdale kind of felt a little bit like a capsule, but with every episode, we realize the extent of the town is growing a little bigger, and we're getting a little more depth. So I loved having the chance to be part of that lore building.
Yeah. And do you guys, Jughead and Betty have had such an up and down. This year especially has been like a real they're together, they're not together, they're back together. Do you guys have a favorite? Do you have a favorite Bughead moment from this season so far?
That's it. Go ahead.
Guys, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night. I don't know. What was that? I don't know. I think the.
Lily, I'm coming for your man.
All right. Yeah. Anyways.
That's quite a declaration.
Yeah.
Wow. There is a moment. It's actually, without spoiling too much, I think my favorite moment is coming up in an episode. It's going to be a moment between Jughead, Betty, and Chick, which is, I think is probably my favorite Bughead moment of season 2.
Jughead's a badass in season 2. Just wait.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Is that to me?
I mean, we've seen a lot of dark Betty. I mean, she's gotten even darker this year. I think my favorite moment so far this year was you with the lighter up at Chick's face, just being like, that was.
Actually, Roberto had originally written it as a feather.
It is true.
He had written it as me like tickling him with a feather, and I was like, people might perceive this in a strange way.
Yeah, so he.
So I was like, how about a lighter instead? And I guess.
And he saved the feather for Bughead.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I was rewatching it and I was like, this is so bad. I mean, do you like the darker part, like kind of learning more about Betty and sort of this other part to her?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredibly interesting. I feel like it's so much more than just a lingerie and a black wig, which, by the way, I never want to wear again. I hate that thing.
Why?
Huh?
I love that wig.
Oh, thanks. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of, she's figuring out I feel like Dark Betty kind of represents Betty figuring out her sexuality in a way and like, becoming a woman. And then like when you see her real darkness, like her with a lighter in someone's face, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, you're just kind of seeing this girl's inner turmoil and her demons and her little angst coming out. My little angsty girl, I love her.
Camila, you have also, though, like, Veronica's gotten pretty dark. She's gotten pretty, like, badass this year. Like, you have knocked out at least two major, Reggie and Nick St. Clair you've taken down. Are you like scrappy? Like, have you gotten in a fight
Veronica's
before?
joining the wrestling team.
Are you scrappy in real life? Like, can you throw a punch? Like, are you a punch?
I've never punched someone. I really want to. I'm looking to punch someone. Just haven't found the right person.
Oh man.
Don't encourage this.
Speaking of figuring out her sexuality, Madeleine, Cheryl has. Cheryl obviously has had a realization about her own sexuality. What has that been like? What's the response been like? Because it did kind of, it's a surprise in some ways, but also it feels really right.
Right. I don't think it was a realization. I think that it is something she's known for a long time, and her mom has pushed down about her and hated about her, and it's made Cheryl hate herself because her mom doesn't love her. And it was a dark storyline to kind of reveal for her, but the response was overwhelming, and I feel so welcomed by that community, and I'm so happy to be able to bring that to light, and I think it's an important storyline to bring to television. Unfortunately, it's still happening, like parents not accepting their children, and it makes so much more sense when you see Cheryl and the way she acts towards people in season 1, and this angst that she's built up and this anger about not being loved by her mom, therefore not loving herself. And Tony's really helping her explore that love for herself, and I think it's a really beautiful and amazing relationship. TBD.
Yeah. And you were telling me backstage that you're best friends with Tony.
So Vanessa and I have been best friends for years, by the way. So everyone's like, your chemistry is amazing. And I was like, she's my best friend. That's why.
That's so crazy. That's wonderful, though. Did you guys, Roberto, did you always know this was something you were going to pursue for Cheryl?
I think we had conversations about it early on. It was something that we talked, and when we introduced the character of Tony Topaz, we thought, oh, this is a bisexual character that kind of from the comic books, and we talked about it early on. It took a little while to get to the storyline, but I think, and the episode that you guys haven't seen, I think, is really powerful. It's the one that airs this Wednesday, so please tune in and watch it live. But it's a powerful episode between Cheryl and Tony. So yeah, it is something we thought about for a while.
Yeah.
Nice to see it come to fruition.
Yeah. Skeet and Machen, are you shocked? I feel like there is so much fan support for FP and Alice to get together. Which would make, like, the Bughead situation real weird, but,
Welcome to Riverdale.
That's true.
Yeah,
You're right. That's true.
Got to set an example.
But have you gotten, do people come up to you and are they shipping? Are you getting people, like, really shipping Alice and FP?
Oh yeah, we have major phallus shippers out there.
And we love you all.
Wait, they're called phallus?
Phallus.
I was not
It's a
aware of
whole
that.
thing.
I was not aware
Get
of
on board.
Like
Get
the
on the
biggest
ship.
Wow. And Machen, are we gonna see? Will we learn more about Alice's? I love the idea of Alice as a serpent. Like that, the biker chick Alice is my favorite part. Are we? Yeah. Are we gonna learn more about that?
Roberto?
Oh, okay.
I have to do one more plug for this week's Riverdale. It's also a big episode for Alice, the Serpents, and FP.
Yeah.
And if people are interested in seeing more of FP and Alice, I think you should watch this week's episode.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Otherwise, we're just gonna have to create it on Instagram.
Everyone loves phallus.
That is the quote. You never thought that you'd say that.
I know. I never thought I'd say that on a large
Way to
stage.
go,
Well, I
Tim.
probably did. But Skeet, Skeet, you were also kind of in a different. You were in almost a different show. You were like on Oz, basically. Was that how? I mean, did you have FOMO? Like, were you like, I got to get back with the gang? I've been in prison too long.
I don't think I met anyone until this year. Like Cole. I was kind of stuck out there in nowhere land.
Yeah.
But it's such a great group of people, so it's always nice when we have those big scenes where we're all together for all of us to catch up and be around each other. It's always nice. So I was glad to join the main part of the show.
Yeah. And Marisol and Luke, what kind of campaign can we expect from these two? Because obviously you guys have a very complicated relationship. Is this going to be ugly, dirty? What's it going to? I mean, how's this going to go between?
I think it depends on
Fred and
who you
Hermione?
ask. I mean, I think having Fred run against Hermione is her worst nightmare, like right in her face.
Yeah.
But I would say, and pipe in, but I think Hermione has more of a political savvy kill or be killed instinct, and unfortunately, he's her opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's looking to make Riverdale great again. I'm pretty much believing that Riverdale's always been great, and it's going to get greater when I'm the mayor. Thank you. We'll see.
Ashley, we've learned so much more about Josie this year, which has been so awesome, I think.
Out of the ballpark, Mike.
And now it looks like. Did you and Madeline? My favorite scenes are the Madeline, or you and Madeline, sort of the Cheryl, Josie. I don't even know how to describe that relationship. Was that fun? Was that a fun storyline to be able to do?
Go for it, girl.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's always great working with Madeline. Mads is just like an awesome actress and an awesome human being, and she gives so much, and it's actually kind of hard to be mad at her. Like when I have to be mad, I can't, like, 'cause she just like does weird faces. She does a smile, like it's weird, like that one, that's my face. Gets me every time. Love her.
I love working with Ashley. It's honestly a dream come true. And she's got the voice of an angel, by the way. That duet, I can't, I mean, her voice is, she sings like that in person. That's not normal. But she's a phenomenal scene partner, and I'm so happy that we've got to delve into that relationship more, because that was kind of like the one thing we were saying at the beginning of the season was like, you'll see more Josie.
Yeah.
And you have. Cheryl?
Josie.
Cheryl? Josie?
Gerald.
You tell us, but.
And then let's go back to the Black Hood stuff. Did you know, like when you started this season for Roberto, did you know who the Black Hood was, or is this something that's kind of, has this evolved over the course of the season?
You know, when we started, we had 3 likely suspects.
Interesting.
So for the first half of the season, we kind of were writing it, always dropping red herrings so that we kind of could pick. As we moved into the second half, and when we get back to the Black Hood for the last few episodes, we always knew it wasn't going to be just the Mistress Fenton, the janitor.
I know. Poor man.
But for the last 10 episodes or so, we've had a pretty clear idea, and have been writing towards that.
Okay. For the actors, like, were you nervous at all that you might be the Black Hood? Like, do you know if you're the Black Hood?
Very.
I'm a 40-year-old, so I know I don't have green eyes.
You did what?
I knew that I don't have green eyes.
Oh, that's true.
Girl, you could be wearing contacts.
True.
You never know.
I thought Hiram might have hired someone or something.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we find out at this pretty much at the very last minute anyway.
Yeah.
No, I was absolutely sure I was not the black coat.
Was there any fear though, because people are dropping like flies now, and are you guys afraid of being killed off at all? Like, have there been assurances made?
Well, the
that
thing
you
I
will-
would say to the first part of your question is people keep dropping off. Riverdale has a specific gravity, okay? And it's hard to hang in the
Yeah,
orbit.
but people always come back is the thing.
That's
so.
Oh, and what a stud move, like to bring Barkley back
yeah,
as
as
another
Uncle
character.
Claudius.
That's
Oh my
so,
gosh.
it's so brilliant, right? You know, to bring Barkley Hope, the actor who played Clifford Blossom, to bring him back as Cornelius.
twin brother.
Cornelius?
There's a third twin. There's a third twin, Cornelius.
That's how it was just born.
Yeah.
See?
Oh my God, I wonder.
But that's how smart these guys are with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will the wig room come back? Because that's my favorite. My favorite set you guys
No.
ever had was the Blossom toupee room.
It's funny. I'll tell you a story.
I love that. That was wonderful.
I loved it too. Originally, that was born out of the fact that Barkley, the actor who played Cheryl's father, did not want to dye his hair red.
Oh, nice.
And so we're like, that's okay. We'll put him in a wig.
Yeah.
So we put him in a wig, and there were a lot of questions about the wig. Many people thought it didn't look real, and we got a lot of notes from the studio and the network that said, you know, this wig is crazy. Why is he wearing a wig? And then I actually have to say it was, I think, Greg Berlanti who had the idea that we should make it a character trait that he has a room full of wigs like Lex Luthor. So that's how the wig. That's how the wig room was born.
Yeah, life gives you lemons, and you make a wig room.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Bam.
God bless you, Greg Berlanti.
Yeah.
You're so wise. You're just, that's why you are who you are. Because you knew we needed a wig room. Do you guys feel like this season, though, has been, to me, it's been such a game changer. Like, it feels like there's such momentum, and just the mystery has been so great. And the musical episode, there's just been so many great moments. Does it feel different? Does it feel like a different kind of, does it feel like a game changer for you all?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think 22, like our last season obviously was 13 episodes, and now that we have 22 this time, it's a ride for sure. Like none of us knew what it was like. I mean, we had Luke, who's made over 300 episodes of TV, and he was telling us like, this is what it's going to be like. It's going to be hard. And sure enough, it's hard. It's challenging. It's really hard. But I think we're all really proud of what we've done thus far.
And also, I feel like it's different to do that, but it's also exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like, we're still with the same people. We're still that same support group. We're still there for each other. And the story is just different.
Yeah.
There's just a lot more to play with this season too. Like with all of our characters are growing and we're growing with them, and we have different genres we get to experience.
Yeah.
I mean, at the wrap party, I read Roberto's speech and he kind of touched on all the genres we've touched on in the show, and it's fun. You don't get to do that in a lot of shows.
Yeah. And what was it felt like too, I think you guys premiered and everyone loved it, and then you went on Netflix this summer, and it seems like the audience even grew massively. Have you noticed, did you notice that change, like fans coming up to you and just more people seeing it and wanting to talk about it?
What is Netflix? Yeah. Hold on, wait.
I mean, there was a significant difference in I guess, our followers and people recognizing us as soon as we went on Netflix. I mean, that's just how people watch TV these days and digest their content. So we kind of just grew exponentially from there, which was amazing. But it was something like we were totally not prepared for.
Yeah. So what's it like now in Vancouver? Like, can you walk around Vancouver normally?
No.
I mean, you can
they
walk.
cannot.
You're gonna get stopped.
Okay.
The problem is that we're also always together, so
Right.
it really there's no question if it's us, you know.
Right.
It's like a redhead, a brunette, a blonde, a tall, dark-haired man. Like this is all.
I can walk around
obvious.
Vancouver, and what's great is that people will get as close to me as Cole with their mouth open and say, "Are you?" If you're that close, it's not me.
What's been your wildest fan encounter so far? Have you had anyone yet tattoo you on their bodies?
Oh God.
Because that will probably happen. Luke, you probably had that happen. Luke, there are Dylan McKay tattoos out there.
For sure.
It's funny you would pick that one, Tim, because I've seen a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
I have one. I'll show it later.
Yeah.
Tell them about the stamps. The stamps in Africa, right?
Oh, yeah. The other day, the crew had a jigsaw puzzle out of me, and they were putting it together on a big table. And Camille and I got to talking about stuff, and I showed her a picture of, I'm a postage stamp in Africa. Wow. If you send mail out of there, boys, Luke on that. I just never, that's crazy to me. Does that not sound crazy to you? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have you guys, for the Riverdale, the younger kids, have you guys had crazy experiences?
I mean, just the other day, I found myself in Vancouver going to Chipotle a lot, which is not out of the ordinary. But so I went there the other day, and this girl was opening the door for me, and she goes, and I was like, she's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. She goes, good luck with that. I don't know if she thought that I was like pretending to be me, but then she was like, okay.
She was saying good luck with the Chipotle.
Oh my God.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's Robin Betty tonight.
Yeah.
So
next season, Jughead will be eating Chipotle for that comment.
So you guys mentioned you guys all hang out together all the time. Give me what's a Riverdale weekend? What do you guys do for fun?
Karaoke, baby.
Karaoke a lot.
Okay.
Mark's house.
What is your karaoke song?
I don't want to talk about it.
If I Ain't Got You. If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys.
Which one?
If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys.
That song from Shrek, what did we all start?
Somebody once told me.
Well, Casey's not here, but Casey always sings New York State of Mind, right?
Yeah.
And he kills it.
Lady Gaga, queen over here, sings phenomenal
I
Gaga.
love Lady Gaga. She's my girl.
What's the song we do?
Me and you? We do You and I.
You and I, that's our song.
Oh, that's great.
What's that song that you and I do?
Oh,
it's You and I.
You noticed
yeah.
that.
Cole likes to sing Mr. Brightside.
Mads, you know this stuff.
I know.
I go to karaoke.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, we're going to take audience Q&A.
Yeah, and I have to point this out. I always love to do it. I went to high school with that gentleman right there with the microphone in his hand.
Oh, really?
Woo!
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my good friend, Mr. John Wareham.
Oh my God, yes.
Went to the same
Let's
high
go to
school.
John then. John, let's go. Yeah, we'll go to the,
Love it.
I'm freezing. Look at this.
Hi, everybody. I have to say I love the entire cast, but my heart's pounding. As I'm sitting here, my 16, 18-year-old self is fangirling a little bit over Skeet and Luke, so. huge fan from years back, but that's not the role I'm in today. I'm here as a mother because I got my 12-year-old daughter, Mia, into the show, and she was like, I don't know, Mom, comics, and because I was a huge Archie comics fan growing up.
Yeah,
and
we all were.
from the first episode, I realized this ain't your mama's Archie comics, right? But now she's a huge fan. We're a huge fan together, and it's so special for us to be able to share this love of the show and to be here today. So thank you guys so much for providing that. And Greg, we're huge fans of a lot of your shows. We were here last year for the superhero panel. But I really want to know, how did this come to fruition? Whose idea was it to bring Riverdale? Whose idea was it to make it dark and twisty? Okay, good.
That's Roberta.
So thank you guys.
You know, it was something that I'd been writing Archie comics, and it's something that Jon Goldwater and I had talked about a lot and dreamed about a lot. And we spent, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years trying to do an Archie movie, and we couldn't make it happen for a lot of reasons. And then we thought, well, maybe we'll try this as a television show. And we partnered with Greg Berlanti and Sarah Schechter and his company. And as we were developing it, a lot of people said, you know, it's got to be more than just a coming of age show. It's really hard to just do a coming of age show. And then it's sort of, which is what I thought it was going to be. I thought every episode was going to be like the musical. I thought it was going to be a bunch of kids singing in the cafeteria. And it sort of evolved into something that became kind of almost a subversion or a deconstruction of Archie, something that was darker and more noir and crime. And it's just sort of it just happened sort of naturally. But it came out of years of hard work and a lot of people believing it. I think she's here right now, Susan Rovner at Warner Brothers Television. When I walked into her office, it was the first time I was going to talk to her about Archie. I'd never met her, and before I even sat down, she said, "We're doing this. It's a high school show. It's going to be on the CW. It's going to be a huge hit." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't even have to sell it to you." So it was a lot of people really believed in it. Peter Roth, when the show died at Fox, he believed in it, and we took it out again, and it landed exactly where it should be, which is on the CW. So a lot of people really believed in it.
Yeah. All right, let's move along. Let's go to the lady in the middle with the bell sleeves. Yeah. I don't know how to point people out. This is hard.
No sleeves is good.
First of all, we love you so much. And our question is, what's your favorite memory you've had on set?
Wow.
I think
Go. No.
Okay, I don't know.
Go ahead, go.
I was just gonna say the season finale of season 1.
Yep, I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Really?
Yep.
It was just such we've never had a shoot day like that before, when we're all just like running in the snow, freezing cold, but also like the adrenaline was so high, and it was an epic moment. I don't think a lot of moments compare to that one.
Yeah, and we all came together, and KJ broke his hand.
You guys didn't break your hand that day.
Okay.
That's what was so epic about it.
Trying to warm each other up, and yeah, it was like a little warm and cuddly, and also sad, but warm and cuddly.
All right, cool. Let's go. This lady in the front row with the yellow shirt.
Hi there, my name is Jansen. So I have a question. I'm wearing a Pops shirt. Do you guys have a favorite milkshake, or do you actually get to drink them, or what's that look like?
Well, in the first season, they were like weird, like tasted like Pedialyte.
It was like Pedialyte, yeah.
I was like, I didn't drink this as a kid. I'm not drinking it now. My personal favorite is a coffee milkshake.
Really?
Yeah, but Betty drinks vanilla.
Yeah, I thought they always make you
Or
drink strawberry. Yeah.
I don't know.
I always have to drink chocolate.
I think it's strawberry, actually.
But we try not to, we have to shoot a lot of those scenes.
I don't actually drink
and
it.
a lot of takes of them, so we try not to even touch the straw, honestly.
I get the Cool Whip off.
I finished mine before we start.
Yeah, KJ drinks it immediately.
No,
and he'll
he
eat
does.
yours too.
First time I worked with KJ, we had a scene where KJ and Cole were supposed to be eating a pizza in the living room. They ate the entire pizza during rehearsal. we hadn't even got to shooting yet. Pizza gone. They had pizza waiting. That was funny.
All right, this lady, the lady in the front, she was like, oh yeah, okay.
We love you guys.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Kendall Weiss, and this is Bella Flint. And I love you so much. Your show is amazing. And we were just wondering if you ever had an experience where you had to improv one of your scenes.
Not exactly.
Yeah, since KJ doesn't remember any of his lines, pretty much it's all improv with him.
That's not true.
So the answer is yes. No, I do think, when we get the script, most of the times it's kind of theoretical, and until the actors live inside the set with it and start to translate it into their own words, the scripts change and the scripts adapt, and in that kind of way, there's a lot of improvisation that goes on for almost every scene, and it's about finding out what words make the character sound. Thank you. So yes, the answer is yes. There's a ton of improvisation.
Yeah, the improv comes after. Sometimes the director doesn't call cut right at the end of the scene, and he'll leave it on purpose to see what.
But I think it's more improv with choices, not necessarily improv with words. They're pretty strict about us sticking to the exact words.
Yeah.
Exact.
In a good way. It's a stylized show. You got to get it right.
right, let's go to the back area. There's a man with glasses.
There
Is there a man in black?
There's a man with glasses.
I don't just have to tell these people. Sorry.
Will Archie and the core group, the Archie and the gang, will they stay in high school forever? Or do you have plans for them to move on to college or adult life?
I asked the same
Forever.
Forever.
It's only been like 4 months.
What year are they now?
Sophomores. It's first semester, sophomore year.
Exactly. You can stay in school a long time on TV.
All right, let's go. There's like a young boy in a black t-shirt, I think. Yep. Is it a girl? Sorry, can't see. Can't see. No, you're adorable.
Hi,
You're
I love
adorable.
the show so
I can't
much.
see. Sorry.
So Cole and Lily, there's been a lot of rumors of you guys dating. Are you dating?
Such an
I know, but they opened it up.
Was that the question or the statement? Because you're right. Huh?
Are you dating?
No comment.
He just mumbled into the mic.
All right, let's do the guy, let's do the guy in the far back in the 8. Yeah, the 8.
Thanks for not answering.
Or 9? Is it a 9?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good job.
It's 8.
I can't see.
First of all, thank you so much for an awesome panel. I'm a huge fan myself of Riverdale. I have a question for the entire cast. As a millennial who wants to go into the television and entertainment industry, what advice do you have? I'm not necessarily trying to act, but just, for any of it.
Move to Vancouver.
It's a hard industry to get into regardless of what area you want to be in. And I think the biggest piece of advice I could give to myself back then and to anybody is just stay tenacious and don't give up. It could take 4 months, it could take 10 years, but if you really love it, just keep doing it and stay passionate and it will happen.
Yeah, and use a washout dye for your hair, don't bleach it.
We're a perfect example. We're all from completely different places.
We all got here with
Those two of them.
I do think that there's a myth that follows around the industry that it's kind of like a light switch success, that all of a sudden that there's this big break and all of a sudden you're in. And what's true in most cases is, and what's true for most of us sitting on this stage, is years and years of smaller roles or commercial work or background work and slow and steady paces up to something that becomes a real commercial success.
Totally.
And so I think, take it with a grain of salt. What the audience ends up seeing in most cases is your biggest successes. And only after you become quite successful in the industry do people go back and, in their own sort of archaeological way, filter through the stuff that they can find. Little hidden gems that you used to do. So be proud of the little stuff that you do. Be proud of the small steps that it takes to eventually lead into one of those bigger roles, because it takes a long time, and it's not just a light switch.
Okay, we only have time for a few more.
My name's Sam. This is Noelle.
Hi.
And since we're at the home of the Oscars, I was wondering, who are you guys wearing?
This is Free People.
I am, yeah.
Michael Kors.
This is Guillermo del Toro.
Self-portrait.
Armani.
Allison Olivia.
Ooh, for the designers.
Let's see this girl. She has a denim shirt on. Yeah, and she's holding cards.
Poker player. Denim shirt, cards, gotta be.
I'll stand. Very tall, sorry. Also, shout out to the redheads on stage. Yes, love you. I actually have stuff for you guys. I got a Veggie Girl gift card from Madeline. So that's awesome. So my question on the topic of food is, what is your guys' go-to snack, like on set?
Oh, chocolate.
Pears. Yep, you love your pears, don't you? I like nut and seed butter.
That one's
By
good.
itself?
It's real good.
With a pear.
Potentially with a pear, maybe by itself if I need a
You
little
guys are
protein.
describing hamster foods.
That's essentially what crafty is.
No.
What's your go-to food, Cole?
You don't
Have you
snack
seen
on
my
coffee.
outfits?
So Canada has these ketchup chips,
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
which are pretty good.
M&Ms.
They're disgusting.
Yeah, M&Ms.
I make a grilled cheese. We have a whole setup at Crafty, and I'll pop my toast in there and some cheese and some banana peppers. I make a meal at Crafty.
Wendy week.
Well, we actually have, that's all the time we have left, but you guys, thanks so much to the cast of Riverdale.